And welcome to our Monday dumbbell workout. Just give a few seconds and let people get on. So today we're going to be going through another workout where we're going to vary our exercises. So we're going to go through same four fundamental exercises, so squats, presses, deadlifts, rows, and then we're going to do split squats and shoulder raises. But instead of varying our foot position or hand position, what I'm going to do is get us to vary our angles. So we're going to go at different angles, and then or have our dumbbells at different positions as well. And that's just going to provide you with a little bit of a different look at the exercises, and I'll go through why it's important depending on what exercise we're doing and how we're going to do it. So let's just get started on our warm-up. So find yourself a wall, and we're going to do lateral leg swings to start. So just side to side like this, and we're just going to work at opening up our hip joint. So this just gets our groin and our glutes involved, as well as our spine. Switching legs. Good. And next we're going to get into our hip flexor, mogul hops. So we're going to go side to side like this. And now we're just getting our cardio in a bit as well. So back and forth, back and forth. So for those people missing out on ski season, right? Next one, we're going to do bent knee rotation. So lying on the ground on our backs, we're going to bend our knees like this, so our shins are parallel to the ground. Let them fall to one side, contract your abs, bring them back to the middle, then let them fall to the opposite side. So we're just going to go back and forth like that. You're going to probably hear your back go snap, crackle, pop a little bit. Good. And we'll get back up. And we're going to go into lateral stairs. So I'm just going to grab my Bosu ball, and we're just going to step up and across like this. You can use your stairs and just go up one way and go down the same, or if you have a step at home, you can just use the step. Good. And then we'll go into arm circles. So just opening up our arms like this, big circles as best as we can. Good job. You can switch ways. And we'll finish with a punch combination. So we're going to start with jab, cross, then hook. So jab, cross, hook. 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 And let's try the other side. So jab, cross, hook. 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 And relax. So let's get into our dumbbell workout right away. So I want you to grab a dumbbell for your squats. And we're going to just start with a Doublet Squat. So I'll grab here. So you're going to get your feet about hip width apart. Hold your goblet like this. And we're just going to drop into a standard squat like that. So grab your dumbbell, find something appropriate, and you can kind of just see what I'm doing here. Like always, you're going to pick your reps, so you can do 8, 10, 12, whatever you want. We're going to do 3 sets of it. So in about 15 seconds we'll start. So just get yourself ready. You can breathe a little bit. Alright, so let's grab your dumbbell. I'm going to show you a front view to start. So let's just drop. So squat down nice and deep. Good. Good. Keep upright. Exhale on the way up. Inhale on the way down. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So while we're resting, I'll show you the next round. So the next round, what we're going to do is using a single dumbbell again. You're just going to hold it on one side and do your squat like that. So you're going to drop down, still stay nice and upright. And we're going to do 5, well, do half on one side and then do half on the other. So since I'm doing 10 reps, I'll do 5 with this hand, and then I'm going to switch and do 5 in my opposite hand. So let's get ready and go. So drop down, come up, drop down, come up. So this is going to overload the one leg on the same side as the dumbbell. And you're going to notice on the opposite side, you're going to have to really use your low back to stabilize so that you don't twist or rotate at all. Great. And for our third round, we're going to hold the dumbbells in a shoulder press and do our squats like that. So with Goblet Squat, it's kind of like a front squat. So you're going to have a lot of more weight on your front side. So you compensate by going into your glutes a bit more. For this one, since the weight's overhead, so let's get going. Now it acts a lot more like a back squat. So you're going to have the weight come into your quads a bit more. 7, 8, 9, and 10. And so we'll have a little bit of a break here. We'll take a minute before we get going. Again, so 7:30 on the clock on the screen before we go into presses. So for the presses, the way I'm going to do it is on a mat this time, so I'm not going to use my bench, just in case you don't have a bench at home. So lying down like this, I'm just going to do a chest press or a floor press from here. So up, back down, up, back down. And that's what my first round's going to look like. And so we'll get going in about 10 seconds. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So floor press, so elbows should be touching the ground. Extend till the dumbbells are right up over top of your chest, then back down. Stay in control. Go at whatever reps you need to do this. So depending on what weights you have available, you may switch your reps from exercise to exercise so that it's challenging. And that's 10 for me. Next one, I'm going to show you a side profile. So we're going to go into a little a V-sit chest press. So it's very similar to what an incline chest press would be like if you're using a bench. Except we don't have a bench. So for this one, we're going to lean back like this and press straight out from there. So let's get going. If you have a bench at home and you'd rather do an incline chest press, you can do that as well. Just doesn't work your core nearly as much. Great. So that's it for me there. I got my 10 in. And then the last one I'm going to do is sitting cross-legged, or just sitting out like this if cross-legged is too uncomfortable for you. And we're going to do a shoulder press overhead. So again, just doing something where we don't have a bench or don't have the ability for a bench. So floor press is going to be more triceps and chest related. We go in the incline, we add in the core, a little bit more shoulders involved. Now when we go into the shoulder press, obviously the shoulders are a lot more involved than the chest. So let's get going. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. And we're going to take another minute break, so we'll start again at 11 minutes on the timer there. And we're going to do deadlifts. So first one we're going to do just a standard deadlift. So dumbbells right in front, right in line with our shins. And so when we do that, it's typically mainly a hamstring, using your glutes a little bit as well. So those are the two things that we're really going to be focusing on. And then as we go about, we'll do a couple different variations. And I'll explain that after each round, just like the other ones. So let's get ready to get into our dumbbell deadlift in 3, 2, 1, go. So down, extend, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the hamstrings, squeezing your abs as you do that. 5, 6, exhaling on the way up. 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. Now I'm going to switch and only use one dumbbell. So just like with the squat, now I'm just adding in a little bit of rotation into it. And I should probably use a bit of a heavier dumbbell just to offset what I was doing there. So same thing, I'm going to try and keep it in front of my shin. I'm going to do 5 with one arm, and then I'm going to switch and do 5 with the other. So right in front, and still deadlifting there. So it's just going to overload the hamstring and glute on the side of the dumbbell. And I think I got one more before I switch. And I'll switch over and do the same thing on the opposite side. And so at the same time, I'm working my core a lot more on the side where I'm not holding the dumbbell. And relax. And so for the third one, what I'm going to do here is just add in an elevated position. So if you have a step or a stair, you can use that. I got a Bosu, so we'll see how that goes. Trying to balance on it. And so now I can just get a little bit deeper into that range, which means I need to bend up my knees just a little bit more. 5, 6. If you don't have a Bosu, it's totally fine. You can use your stairs. 8, 9, and 10. Instead. So we're halfway. We'll take just about a minute and a half break here. So we'll pick it back up at 15. So make sure you grab a drink of water. And make sure you're kind of a little bit recovered there. And we're going to do rows next. So this time I'll bring in my bench. When I do this, you can use a chair or a table, whatever you want to do for this one. I'll move that back a little bit there. And so for a flat row, my back is going to be flat here. The bench is flat. And so I'm going to drive up, keeping my elbow fairly close to the side, not right tucked, but just a little loose there from the sides. And we're going to try and do both sides, so both arms in the minute. So we'll pick it up in 5 seconds. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1, go. So drive up, back down like that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll switch sides now. Same thing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And rest. So for the next round, what I'm going to do is add a bit of an incline. And so for me, I can do that with a bench. For you, if you don't have a bench available, what you can use is just a higher surface. So if this is a chair or table, now maybe you're more at like a desk or a countertop. And let's get going. So same thing, I'm just a bit more upright now. So you can see my torso is at about a 45-degree angle as I go through. 10. And switching sides. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll ditch the bench. And we'll finish our last round doing an upright row. So this one we don't need any sort of bench or table or anything. We're just going to stand tall with a little bit of a bent knee. And again, I'm just going to do it single arm, just to stay consistent. So get going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And switching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. And we're going to move into split squats next. So 2 dumbbells are going to be needed. And we'll pick it back up at 19 minutes. So still got a minute of rest here in between. So while we're waiting, I'll just explain and describe. So big split stance like this. Feet should both be pointed straight forward. Then you're going to drop down and come back up. And so we'll try and, I'm going to try and do 10 each leg. So I'll do 10 and then switch. If that's too much for you, you could do 5 each leg, or whatever dynamic you want to choose. So split up your reps however you see fit. Again, a lot of it probably depends on what equipment you're using. So, and then what shape you're in. So, you know, if you only have 30-pound dumbbells, split squats with 30 pounds can be pretty tough. So you may only use one dumbbell instead of two, or you may just not do a lot of reps. So we'll get going in a few seconds here. So let's get into our big stance. Feet straight forward, and drop our knee, come back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching legs. I'm just going to switch so you see a side profile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. This next round, what we're going to do is your front foot elevated. So it's going to work your hip flexors a bit more. So when I have my front foot, I'm going to use my Bosu ball. I'm going to be able to lower my back leg further than I would on even ground. So I'm really going to work that back leg's hip flexors a lot more. And let's get going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And switching sides for me. Get my balance. Ooh. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. That one's a challenging one, especially for me, adding in the balance work with the Bosu. And the last one is going to be rear elevated. So it's kind of like a Bulgarian split squat, but I'm not quite super elevated. I'm only, 6, 8 inches off the ground for this one. And so this one is going to really burn the front quad a bit, quite a bit more. And let's get going. For this one, round 3 of our split squats. This is our last leg exercise, so if your legs are really feeling it, that's good. We're getting down the home stretch. And switching legs for me. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Really burning there. And so we got shoulder raises to finish. And so we'll pick it back up at 23. So we got a good minute in a bit. So we're going to do 3 types. We're going to start with the hardest ones first. So lateral raises are generally the hardest ones. So we're going to do those. Then we're going to come out on a 45-degree angle. So if lateral is 0, anterior is 90, I want you to go halfway. You're going to come up like that. For all these, just to keep it consistent, we're going to have our palms facing down. So down for the lateral, down for the 45, down for the anterior. If you want to work your exterior rotator cuff a bit more, you can go thumbs up for those. So I'll leave that option up to you. Just depends on how you're feeling and what your shoulder allows you to do. So let's get going in 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So unlike the leg exercises, these ones are generally a bit easier on our heart rate. Not as big of a motion, not as big of a body heart rate, looking at our arms instead of our legs. So, and our legs are doing the work, but they're also carrying everything above them. So lateral raises, that's going to focus on your lateral deltoid, a little bit of rear deltoid, a little bit of anterior deltoid. Now when we go out onto the 45, we're going to get a lot more anterior involved, a lot more lateral involved, and basically get rid of the rear deltoid part of the muscle. So 45s, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most people don't do this one or do anything like it. So it's a little unique for people, so it might take you a little bit to get used to it. One more. But it's a good addition to your routine, especially if you're only doing lateral and anterior. Getting something at the 45 just evens out the muscles a little bit better. So we got one more exercise. So the anterior raises. So obviously we're going to end up using our anterior deltoid a lot, our lateral deltoid a little bit, and then our rear not at all as well again. So let's get ready and go. You might also feel a bit of a stretch through your biceps. That's normal, especially if they're tight. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as you can see, when I went to that lateral view, I'm not leaning back, so I see a lot of this happen, especially when people try and use too heavy of a weight. So just make sure that you avoid that when you're doing your raises. An easy correction, if you need to, because we got a bit of time before we go into our cool down, is just do them against the wall. You can't go anywhere if the wall's there, right? And that's another good correction whenever you're doing bicep curls. If you're someone who has a hard time with swinging their upper torso, just try and use the wall to your advantage. So we'll take another 50 seconds, grab a drink of water, and then we're going to go into a groin stretch. So we're going to go into our cool down. We'll do our groin stretch, hip flexor, T-spine rotation, piriformis stretch, triceps, and then neck stretch. So again, that whole body, making sure that we're nice and stretched out before we go back to whatever we were doing before the workout. And while we're waiting, next week I'm going to start to get into some combo exercises, or a little bit of like kind of more difficult, challenging maneuvers. So I've kind of showed you all the basics now over these last few weeks, so we'll get into those as we go. So let's start with a nice wide stance here, leaning to one side, keeping this leg straight. You can even kind of brace your hand on it. I do that a lot just to give that extra little bit of stretch. Notice I have both my toes pointing forward. Let's switch sides. And I'm trying to keep my chest up as best as I can. The more I do that and sink into it, the more I feel it in my hip, mainly on the anterior side. Good. Hip flexor stretch, so half kneel position. Lean forward until you feel the stretch through your hip flexor. You can squeeze your glute. You can raise your arms straight up over your head. That just elongates everything. And we'll switch sides. Same thing, so lean into it till I feel the stretch. Squeeze my glute, lift my hand, and hold. Good. On our backs, T position. Bend our right knee over top. Grab with our left hand, pull towards the ground, looking towards our right shoulder. And unwind yourself. Bend your left knee, come over top, grab with your right hand, look towards your left shoulder, and breathe. Good. Piriformis stretches next, so right ankle over left knee, grab underneath your left leg, pull it towards your chest, feel it in your right hip. try and let your head relax. I see a lot of people getting neck tension on this one. And let's switch sides, so left ankle over top of right knee, grab underneath your right leg, let your head relax on the mat behind you. Good. We'll go into our last two, so tricep stretch. So elbow over top, grab with your opposite hand, pull, feel the stretch through here. And let's switch sides. And shake out, and we'll do a neck stretch. So just gently pull your neck towards your shoulder and try and reach your opposite hand towards the ground. That just elongates some of the muscles that attach into your shoulder from your neck. And opposite side. This one, you gotta be fairly gentle with yourself. You don't wanna really wrench your neck or else it really feels uncomfortable. And that's it. Thanks for joining on another dumbbell class. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a lot out of it. And I look forward to seeing you next week.